And we are live. Welcome to this episode of Thursday to Thrive, where we talk about everything employee benefits. We talk about zero net cost benefits. I love zero net cost benefits because I think that employee benefits can be so costly for our business owners. And if you are a business owner, entrepreneur, self-employed, and you have at least 20 full-time employees, you could actually qualify for this special program. I think this is incredible. I believe this is the way of the future. In the future, every company will have zero net cost benefits. Right now, you do need to have a minimum of 20 full-time employees, but I believe in the future that number will probably be much lower. So right now, if you are going without benefits for your valued employees and you would like to know more about what you can do, this is an IRS approved. This is a program that has been around for many years. It's part of the ACA, part of the Affordable Care Act. And it is a zero net cost to the employer and no out of pocket to your valued employees. That's so good. I'm going to say it again. It is zero net cost to you as the employer and no out of pocket cost to your valued employees. I call that a win-win. And by the way, we are here to help you to hand carry you through the entire process. We'll provide you a white glove service all the way from the very beginning. When we have the conversation, we're going to refer you to the enrollment expert. And from there, we will provide you that white glove service through the entire process and even beyond. We're here to be your advocate. We're here to work for you. How many places that you go that they provide a white glove service? I don't know. That doesn't really happen anymore. Service has kind of gone the way of the dinosaurs, but we're bringing back service and we're bringing back customer service and we're bringing back white glove customer service. Our entrepreneurs and business owners, we work hard. At the end of the day, a lot of businesses will forego benefits just because of the labor intensive that it causes, right? Just because it takes too many of their faculties. Well, we want to take the heavy lifting off of your shoulders and let us do the heavy lifting for you so that you can provide these zero net cost benefits to your valued employees and they can enjoy the benefits and both of you can enjoy the tax benefits. That's really critical, important to understand. Not only is this program zero net cost, but you will, as a business owner, will also enjoy some tax benefits and also some discounted rates on your workers' comp. I mean, it's a win-win-win all the way around. And you look like what? You look like just a superhero to your valued staff. You absolutely do. So today our topic is medical bills are still today the number one cause of bankruptcy. They're the number one cause of financial devastation. I have been in the insurance business almost 20 years. And this was true when I started 20 years ago. And we would talk about this all the time when we were talking about benefits, when we were talking about health insurance. And you know what? Then we went through this ebb and flow where we now have the Affordable Care Act. And guess what? All these years later, even with everything that's happened, even with the Affordable Care Act and all the benefits that they provide in there, all of the preventative and there's no pre-existing conditions and all those other things that are built into the program, it is still true today. The number one cause of financial devastation is due to medical bills. And I can attest to that. I have several clients right now who are going through this situation. And one of them happens to be a very dear family member. Very, very dear family member. They went and got into a program that limits where they can go. I call it like being on the island. Their health insurance only allows them to go to the doctors and hospitals on the island. That's called an HMO. Folks, never get an HMO. Because that HMO will determine who you can see. Now she wants to go off the island. She wants to go to the mainland. And guess what? Her benefits only allow her to have coverage on the island. Currently, I'm being transparent with you guys. This is my family. This isn't just some theory. This is what I've seen. This is what I'm experiencing right now. She's considering pulling, if she even can, pulling out her retirement account to try to save her life. These are real things. She's having to make decisions over, do I leave assets for my family or do I try to save my life? Folks, these are real situations. So when we're talking about medical bills and the number one cause of financial devastation, even to this day, these are real people behind these numbers. These are real people who are having to make decisions over getting their doctor visits, getting their treatments, getting their medication, or putting food on the table. And I just don't think it has to be that way. Zero net cost benefits is obviously for employer groups, but if you're an individual and you are having challenges with your health insurance, I would love to talk to you because there are options that are not available through the traditional ways, right? I got a lot of tips and tricks up my sleeve, but that's what we're talking about today is medical bills are still the number one cause of financial devastation, the number one cause of bankruptcy. Think about that. If you file bankruptcy, now your credit is ruined for, at least 7 years. They say 7 years, but I've seen cases where it's more than 7 years. And what does that mean? That means that it may be difficult to get a credit card, to get a student loans, to get car notes, to buy a home. I mean, a lot of things are really determined by our credit score, even more than just our credit. And that's a whole nother conversation. But and also think about what I see with people who have filed bankruptcy, it really hurts their self-esteem. They just really feel like there's like that's the end. There isn't any hope for me. And if that's you, there is hope for you. Okay, reach out to me. We'll talk about it. But listen, folks, we should not have to decide between putting food on the table and having health care. We just shouldn't. And I don't know the solution, but I know we have zero net cost benefits. We don't have the solution for everything, but if you are an employer and you don't have benefits or you would like to have benefits, or you're an employee going without benefits, if you're an employee going without benefits and your employer has at least 20 full-time employees, do you know that we actually will pay you $250 for that referral if your employer moves forward with the benefits? So it's a win-win. You're going to get medical benefits. Your employer is going to get all these great tax benefits, and you're going to get some money in your pocket. And I love that. But today it's not about me. It's about my incredible team. And I want to hear what they have to say about this incredible topic. So go ahead and start us off, Ms. Christina. Take it away.
Hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. I always like to take off from something that you say, Leah, and the word that resonated with me is self-esteem. So self-esteem in the, particularly refer to feeling good about yourself, your mental health. And one of the things that the program covers is mental health and telemedicine. There are times when people don't go to the doctor because they're just down, they might be depressed. So to have something like that available to you, telemedicine or somebody that you can call for mental health, it's something that is priceless. And in the context of an holistic work environment, which is what companies should shoot for, real company culture, that's a real win-win. If the person that is working for you is not okay, either because they're struggling with that, they're struggling with medical bills, right? Maybe because they bought the HMO, right? But then they got hurt in another county. And now all of a sudden they have, ambulance costs and all those things. Just like you said, when you're in debt, when you are afraid and you don't know if you're going to be able to pay your rent, it affects your self-esteem. It affects your ability to move. So, you want to build a business, a company where your employee feels whole. They have self-esteem. They feel good about themselves. They don't go to work, dragging their head down. And you as an employer have a huge part in that. You as an employer have, a responsibility to make sure that the people that you said Sure, I have a spot for you. I'll hire you because I need something in my business taken care of. You have a responsibility to make sure that the employee is happy to come to work, is happy to work for you, because in the end they will perform better, and in the end they will do free PR for you. So self-esteem, mental health is something that right now really comes to mind when thinking of these zero net cost benefits. And the horror stories, accidents happen, medical bills that you cannot afford. And we hear most of these horror stories at work. This person got hurt at work. Is it workman's comp? Is it not workman's comp? Or they were on their way to work and they got in a car accident. Or something happened to them during the weekend. They fall off the stairs, right? We hear these things at work. And before we know it, the person is gone. They don't come to work anymore. Either they found another job, or their self-esteem got so down that they just gave up altogether and went on welfare. So you as an employer can avoid all that by making sure you're offering an environment that is healthy.
Wow, that is so profound, Christina. You are so on point. And think about that. If you are that employee, you're struggling in silence because you probably don't feel comfortable going to your employer. You don't want to be telling your employer every single little thing that's going on with you, when it comes to your home life and stuff. And sometimes people, there's some shame around that. They feel like, gosh, I should be able to afford my copay. But if they just don't have that, we need to become the number one provider for employee benefits. I believe that every employer should have access to this, and most employers are going to qualify. If they have at least 20 full-time employees, why wouldn't you give yourself the opportunity and give your employees the opportunity to at least have a conversation and see if this is a good fit for you folks? So thank you so much. I appreciate you so, so much. And so next up, I'd like to hear from you, Mr. Tim. What can you share with us about zero net cost benefits and medical bills, still the number one cause of financial bankruptcy?
Thank you, Leah. What you were talking about reminded me of, I was reading an article about how GoFundMe is basically the de facto medical fundraiser now. It's like common that every time you see something in the news, there's always they have a GoFundMe with it. But the article was talking about how 88% of all the GoFundMes that were medical based don't reach their goals, and 16% don't even get any funding at all. Like, they receive no donations. And that's not something you want to rely on for medical expenses, because we all know that medical expenses are going to come up. And zero net cost benefits is a great way to protect against stuff like this. And it's really important to plan ahead and have these benefits beforehand, and not have to rely on sites like GoFundMe. So
Yeah, that's a great point. I read something, and I don't participate in GoFundMe's as a rule, but I did read something that was saying that they take a portion, the GoFundMe takes a big portion of the dollars raised, and that's how they make their money. And I just think, gosh, you know what, there's a better way. In addition to that, remember, medical bills are the number one cause of financial devastation, and the majority of these people who file bankruptcy, who are financially devastated, actually have medical insurance. We're not talking about people who are going uninsured or uninsured at all. We're not talking about people that don't have any benefits in place. The majority of them are people like I shared with you that have the wrong kind of benefits. They didn't understand their copays, their deductibles. They didn't understand that their insurance doesn't pay 100% of everything. There's a shared risk in any type of insurance. Whether it's our cell phone, we have to pay something, whether it's our car, and even in medical insurance. But here's the issue. When it comes to medical insurance, there's a lot of nomenclature that we don't know. There's a lot of words and verbiage that, we don't know what it means to have co-insurance and deductibles and exclusions and limitations, because that's not something, well, I do. I know that because I study it all day long, but the average person doesn't know that. It's really, we're dependent on the insurance company and the agent to tell us the right thing. And that doesn't always happen. So great share, Tim. Thank you so much. And next up, I'd like to hear from Miss Sharon. What would you like to share today?
What I would like to share is some personal experiences of people I know and even of myself. So I have friends and family who have medical insurance and are having difficulty getting medications they need. As a matter of fact, my very own father had to talk to his endocrinologist about taking his Trulicity less because he just can't afford the expense of the Trulicity. Thankfully, she said he's okay right now to do it every other week, but I don't think that should even have to be in like a choice, like you shouldn't have to be put in that situation. And I don't mind sharing. I have many friends and family who have medical needs who are coming up against the same obstacles, myself included. For the last 8 months, I have been trying to get equipment that I need. I need a new wheelchair. I need a power lift recliner. This is all stuff that'll keep me healthy and keep me productive and keep me functional. And I have been on a merry-go-round, and I have been a ping pong ball between my doctor and the insurance company, because one hand is telling the other, they're talking out of both sides of their mouth, each one of them. And I'm stuck in the middle, not having anything I need. And it's not because I don't have medical insurance. It's because it's all the bureaucracy around this. And that's what these zero net cost benefits, I'm not going to say it eliminates everything, but it eliminates a lot of that, because, nothing is a perfect system, but this is as close to perfect as you're going to get, because it's benefit for the employer. It's a benefit for the employees. And the healthier we are, the more productive we can be for our employers, for our families. And nobody should have to stress over medical benefits. And zero net cost benefits, they cover 800 popular prescriptions. It's not even a thought. It's just something they do. They cover the preventative care. They cover, a part of a gym membership. I think it said, if I don't want to, misquote, but I'm pretty sure it said that it does, as part of preventative. So this is what we need to be concentrating on, because as you said earlier, Leah, this should not have to be a choice of, do I put food on my table? Do I pay my mortgage or my rent? Or do I keep myself healthy? That's crazy. I shouldn't have to be working 8 months to get equipment that is important to my life. People shouldn't have to choose not to take medicine that's going to save their life or make their life more functional because some bureaucrat said, nah. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it had gym membership, but I don't know. You may have seen that somewhere. Here's the flyer. If you guys would like the flyer, I could put in the comments. It shows a list of a lot of the benefits here. I printed out some nice yellow paper, but you can definitely have that PDF for sure. And really, when it comes to our good health, we only get one chance at our good health. If something goes awry, something goes askew, which, by the way, it's going to happen to probably 89% of us. Something major will happen. A major accident, a major illness, a diagnosis, something you didn't foresee. And suddenly, listen, we are all healthy until that one day that we're not. Everybody tells me, oh, Leah, I'm healthy. I don't take any medications. I don't have any prescriptions. I don't hardly ever go to the doctor. I haven't been to the hospital. But it just takes that one thing, that one episode, and now suddenly you're not. I have a friend that we were working on her estate plan. And part of that was she wanted to get life insurance. She's, senior, really wanted to leave her family in a better position than she was. That was something that's very, very near and dear to her heart. She inherited a home from her family, and they didn't have any life insurance. And she said, you know what? I really want to make sure that we do that for my kids. She looked great. She looked healthy. And before we could get the application through, she had a stroke. Now she's uninsurable. Listen, we got to be preventive. We got to be proactive. And it comes from us taking care of our good health. And when we have access to these benefits and we can get the prescriptions we need, we can get the medications we need, we can talk to a doctor if we need to and get that medical care and not have to worry about that out-of-pocket expense. I think that's worth gold. You can't even replace that. There's no way to quantify the value that it is to keep your good health in good health, to protect your good health. So great share, Sharon. Thank you so much. And next, I'd like to hand it over to Mr. Zachary Simon. What can you share with us today?
I gotta say, I am very thankful that I could breathe today on this Thankful Thursday. And if you're listening to this, I mean, I hope y'all are thriving on this Thankful Thursday. I know as we talk about health insurance, you know, it could be really personal. And I'm just reminded of many moments in my life where I was backed against a wall, you know, between a rock and a hard place, struggling. You know, my family struggled financially. And, you know, if you're just listening to this, you may relate, you know, running a tight ship where your budget is tight and you've got no wiggle room. And I'm just reminded of when I was growing up. I remember having an asthma attack. It happened in elementary school, and my family struggled to pay for health insurance. And I was rushed to the hospital, and, you know, my family had to pay out of pocket, you know, for a lot of the medical expenses. And so we were running a tight ship, low budget, you know, we couldn't budge. And it became really hard for us to afford the medical expenses that, you know, I had to kind of take. I needed health insurance. And, you know, again, if you're listening to this, if you're running a tight ship, you know, if you've got a business that, you know, has very little wiggle room, and you're struggling to find out what health insurance is going to cover your employees, I mean, there is a better way. There's a better way of breaking the bank. You know, like we all shared, I mean, zero net cost benefits, I mean, it really helps you find a different option. You know, because if you're running a tight ship and you're back against the wall, you might have to resort to a GoFundMe. And we don't want that, you know, because it's very important that we have a better way. So again, if you're listening to this, I mean, and you relate to moments in your life or moments in your business where you're backed against the wall running a tight budget, you know, it's a no-brainer to choose an option like zero net cost benefits.
Thank you, Zachary, for being so vulnerable, and you too, Sharon, for being so vulnerable and sharing your personal experience. Listen, folks, can you imagine Zachary's parents, how they went to show up to work every day when they knew their son, their precious son, was struggling health-wise? Do you think that they could show up as employees and be 100% focused, or do you think they always had that in the background? They're worried about their precious son. So that's what your employees are struggling with. They want to be a good employee. They want to bring value to your business. However, if their health is not protected and their loved one's health is not protected, they really can't show up for you 100% like they would like to. And that's pulling value away from you and your business. And also, I mean, think of it. Thank God Zachary's here. But what if something happened and listen, asthma is no joke. So you don't want to be responsible for anyone's family not being able to get the care that they need. That's so huge, man. This is so great. You know what? I am so honored to be your leader. I truly am. All of you bring so much value here. And so we're kind of at the top of the hour. I love everybody. I love what Sharon did, was sharing a quote. So if anybody has a quote they'd like to share, I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to start out with you, Sharon, because I know you have a quote that you'd like to share today.
I may not quote it exactly right, but Maya Angelou is one of my favorite people. I think she has said some very profound things. And so she has a quote that says, there's a difference between living a life and creating a life.
Oof.
And I want to tell everybody out there that you have the power to do more than just live a life, just taking, going through the motions. You really do have the power to create a life, and taking advantage of, programs like this, the zero net cost benefits. This is one of the ways that you can create the life that you want. There should be no reason that Americans have to be bankrupt to take care of their health, or they can't get equipment they need, or they can't get the inhalers they need. That's just crazy. So let's all work together to help each other, not just live a life, but create the life that we want.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Anyone else have a quote they'd like to share? Go ahead, Christina.
I do. I don't know if you probably know of them. Andrea Gibson recently passed away at 49. And, poet laureate of Colorado. She's been sick. They've been sick all of their lives. And one thing that they said was, a difficult life is no less worth living than a gentle one. And that's from somebody that struggled with disease and cancer all of their life. So, and it's all kind of in tune to what we're talking about. Somebody that is struggling with health has the right to live their life. Their life is still worth. And, again, this is a call to people that are going to enroll in this program, employers that are going to enroll on this on this program, to really think of this purchase that they're making, or this enrollment that they're making, because I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I call it sometimes the cemetery of all the startups that were born and defunct, and now they're reduced, they're smaller, because things change so much in the San Francisco Bay Area. But what I've noticed is that they're still here. There is still this desire to build little companies that are going to explode, and the people are building companies every day, but they try to save on things like benefit. They shop around for benefits, and there is no malice in it. It's just not realizing that, they're not covering everything for the value employee. And sometimes they just decide altogether to hire part-time. So, this program that we are offering is something that you can also get in addition to what you already have shopped around for, that might save something in your budget. But it's an addition to it. So now, if you already have something, it doesn't mean that you have to drop it. Now you can add this and make what you're offering to your employees complete.
Yeah, thank you so much. Absolutely. These are high quality benefits, the gold standard benefits. These aren't some knockoff. These are corporate style benefits. And you couple this with your base plan if you have a current employer plan, and it really is a beautiful coupling. So thank you so much, Christine. I appreciate that. Anybody else have a quote they'd like to share? All right, Tim, go ahead.
I mean, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but I mean, like Chris Rock said, we're all going to die, but at least with some insurance, you can die on a mattress.
Never do sound like a broken record. We need that every single time. Thank you so much, Tim.
You need that in a t-shirt. On a t-shirt.
All right. Anyone else? All right.
I'll share to kind of begin to close this out. And it comes with a cute story. So when I was a kid, I used to love going to Costco for the samples. I used to go to the little carts that had the food, and I would get my seconds and thirds and fourths. And even though my family did not want me to get seconds and thirds and fourths, I would sneak away and go get some more. And I don't know who told me this. I don't know where this quote originated from, but one of my favorite quotes is, my favorite F word is free.
Boom.
And I love this idea of just going to get more and more because it's free. It attracts me and it attracts many people. So if you're listening to this, I mean, zero net cost benefits is free. It should be your favorite F word.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I love that you have that memory. That's all I'm going to say, because then I could get in a whole thing. But, it's about those memories. And if we don't have the stress of medical cost and medical bills, we can put more focus and more energy into creating those memories with our loved ones. And those are moments we can never replace. We just can't ever rewind and go back in time. And I'll share one of my favorite quotes. Is actually my quote. I think I'm the one that said this. I don't know, but we'll see. And I believe that the more you speak your mind, the more you grow your mind. And that's really what you're seeing in real time as we're sharing this with you here. We're speaking our mind, we're sharing what we're doing, we're sharing what we think about it, and we're all growing our mind. And you're going to see that as we go along, we're going to grow even more. And I believe that that's part of it. That's part of life. I really said this the other day, and I really want to die empty. I don't want to die with a bunch of stuff left inside me. I want to give everything I have to my faith, to my family, to my finance, to my fitness, to my fun, to my philanthropic, because I believe that givers gain, and to my food, because costly, good food is costly. I buy my $10 basket of blueberries every single week, and I intend to continue to do that. So, and food is what binds us and stuff, but if we're so bogged down by the cost of medical benefits, it's very difficult to see our way to other things. So thank you so much, everybody. Whether you're seeing this live, let us know where you're tuning in from. If you're on Team Replay, let us know you're a part of Team Replay. Where are you seeing us? Are you on Facebook? Are you on YouTube? Are you on LinkedIn? We want to know where you found us, and we want to sit down with you. Any one of us can help you. We're all doing this together as a team. We're here to bring value. We're coming here to bring you this value. And I believe zero net cost benefits will absolutely be the way of the future, because this is our year to rise up and thrive and make this the best year of our life. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much, team. You did amazing. And we'll see you all next week. We're here every single week on Thursday to Thrive, where we talk about everything zero net cost benefits. So thank you, everybody.
Hey there, I'm Leah Garcia. Have you ever wanted a career where you truly make a difference in people's lives? I'm building a team of driven financial and insurance professionals, people who want to help families and businesses protect, distribute, and transfer their wealth with confidence. If you're passionate about guiding others to achieve financial security, then you're exactly who I'm looking for. Join my supportive, growth-oriented environment and unlock your full potential. Ready to take the next step? Visit leahgarcia.io. and let's start building your future together.